Do you ever feel a nagging voice inside your head? It whispers doubts. It amplifies insecurities. This, my friends, is your inner critic. We all have one. It's that persistent voice that judges, criticizes, and undermines our confidence. The inner critic can be incredibly powerful. It can hold us back from our dreams and sabotage our happiness. But here's the good news. You don't have to let it control you. Imagine your inner critic as a grumpy roommate. They might complain a lot, but you don't have to let them dictate your life. You can choose to acknowledge their presence without letting their negativity define you. This is where the power of self-compassion comes in. Self-compassion allows us to silence that inner critic and replace its harsh judgments with kindness and understanding. The first step towards silencing your inner critic is to understand that you're not alone. Everyone experiences self-criticism. It's a normal part of the human experience. But just because it's common doesn't mean it's helpful. In fact, research has shown that self-criticism is linked to a whole host of negative outcomes, including anxiety, depression, and low self-esteem. When we're constantly bombarded with negative self-talk, it takes a toll on our mental and emotional well-being. It's like carrying around a heavy weight on your shoulders. But there's hope. Our brains are incredibly adaptable. This ability of the brain to change and rewire itself is called neuroplasticity, and we can harness this power to cultivate self-compassion and silence that inner critic for good. For centuries, scientists believed our brains were fixed after a certain age. But groundbreaking research has revealed a remarkable truth. Our brains are constantly changing. This ability to adapt and rewire itself is called neuroplasticity. It means that every experience, every thought, every emotion shapes the intricate pathways of your brain. Just like a muscle that grows stronger with exercise, neural connections become stronger the more we use them. This is true for both positive and negative thought patterns. If we constantly engage in self-criticism, those neural pathways become deeply ingrained. But the good news is, we can consciously choose to cultivate new pathways of self-compassion. Imagine your brain as a lush garden. Every time you have a negative thought, it's like planting a weed. Over time, these weeds can multiply and choke out the beautiful flowers of self-compassion. But through conscious effort, we can start pulling out those weeds and planting seeds of kindness instead. Every time you choose self-compassion over self-criticism, you're strengthening those positive neural pathways. It's like fertilizing the flowers in your garden, helping them grow stronger and more vibrant. The more you practice self-compassion, the more natural it becomes. Your brain starts to recognize this new pattern of thinking and begins to favor it. Remember, your brain doesn't distinguish between what's real and what's imagined. When you vividly imagine yourself responding to challenges with self-compassion, your brain interprets it as a real experience. This is why visualization techniques can be so powerful in rewiring our thought patterns. So, close your eyes for a moment and imagine yourself facing a difficult situation. Instead of letting your inner critic take over, visualize yourself responding with kindness, understanding, and compassion. Feel the shift in your energy as you choose self-compassion. The more you practice this, the easier it becomes to access these positive pathways in real-life situations. Psychology plays a crucial role in understanding and cultivating self-compassion. Research has shown that self-compassion is not merely a feel-good concept, but a powerful psychological construct with tangible benefits. Dr. Kristin Neff, a pioneering researcher in the field, has identified 3 core components of self-compassion: self-kindness, common humanity, and mindfulness. Self-kindness involves treating yourself with the same care and understanding you would offer a loved one who is struggling. Common humanity reminds us that we all experience pain and imperfection, and that our struggles connect us to something larger than ourselves. Mindfulness invites us to observe our thoughts and feelings without judgment, allowing us to respond to challenges with greater clarity and perspective. Instead of trying to silence your inner critic completely, try befriending it. Imagine your inner critic as a well-intentioned but misguided friend. They may have harsh methods, but their ultimate goal is to protect you from harm. Acknowledge their presence and thank them for trying to keep you safe. Then, gently challenge their distorted perspectives. Ask yourself if you would speak to a friend the way your inner critic speaks to you. Point out the flaws in their logic and offer alternative, more compassionate interpretations. Remember, you don't have to believe everything you think. You have the power to choose which thoughts you want to entertain and which ones you want to let go of. The power of mindfulness. Mindfulness is a key element of self-compassion. It involves paying attention to the present moment without judgment. When we practice mindfulness, we become more aware of our thoughts and feelings as they arise without getting swept away by them. This allows us to create a space between our thoughts and our reactions, giving us the freedom to choose a more compassionate response. Imagine your thoughts as clouds passing through the sky. You can observe them, acknowledge their presence, and let them drift by without judgment. You don't have to engage with every thought that pops into your head. You can choose to focus your attention on thoughts that are helpful and supportive, while gently letting go of those that are not serving you. Breaking free from negativity. One of the most effective ways to silence your inner critic is to challenge its negative thoughts with positive affirmations. Affirmations are positive statements that you repeat to yourself, either out loud or silently. When you consistently affirm positive beliefs about yourself, you begin to rewire your brain for self-compassion. Start by identifying the negative thoughts that your inner critic tends to repeat. Then, create positive affirmations that directly contradict those negative beliefs. For example, if your inner critic often tells you that you're not good enough, you might repeat affirmations like, "I am worthy of love and belonging," or "I am capable of achieving my dreams." The more you repeat these affirmations, the more you will start to believe them. Thought replacement therapy. Imagine your mind as a stage. Negative thoughts are like unwelcome actors, hogging the spotlight and stealing your joy. Thought replacement therapy is your director's chair. It empowers you to choose which thoughts take center stage. It's a powerful technique for silencing the inner critic by consciously replacing negative thoughts with more positive and realistic ones. When that critical voice pipes up, don't just let it stand there and deliver its monologue of doom. Instead, become aware of the script it's trying to feed you. Is it telling you you're not good enough? That you'll never succeed? Recognize these thoughts for what they are, distorted perceptions, not absolute truths. Once you've identified the negative thoughts, it's time to challenge their validity. Ask yourself, is there any evidence to support this thought? Would I say this to a dear friend? What's a more realistic and compassionate way to look at this situation? For instance, let's say you make a mistake at work, and your inner critic starts berating you with thoughts like, "I'm so incompetent, I'm going to get fired." Instead of spiraling into self-doubt, challenge those thoughts head on. Remind yourself that everyone makes mistakes, and that this one incident doesn't define your worth as an employee. Embracing a growth mindset is crucial in silencing your inner critic. Developed by psychologist Carol Dweck, the growth mindset thrives on challenge and sees failure not as evidence of unintelligence, but as a springboard for growth and learning. Instead of viewing challenges as threats, see them as opportunities for expansion. Embrace the learning process, knowing that setbacks are inevitable but temporary. When you make a mistake, don't get bogged down in self-criticism. Instead, approach it with curiosity. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this experience? How can I grow from this? Gratitude is a potent antidote to negativity. When we focus on what we're grateful for, it shifts our perspective and helps us appreciate the good in our lives. This simple yet profound practice can quiet the inner critic by redirecting our attention towards positivity and abundance. Start by incorporating a gratitude practice into your daily routine. Take a few moments each day to reflect on the things you're grateful for, no matter how small. It could be as simple as a warm cup of coffee in the morning, a beautiful sunset, or a kind gesture from a stranger. Remember, silencing the inner critic is not about achieving perfection. It's about treating yourself with kindness and understanding, even when you stumble or fall short of your expectations. It's about being your own best friend, your own biggest cheerleader. When you face challenges, offer yourself the same compassion you would offer a loved one going through a difficult time. Instead of berating yourself for your mistakes, acknowledge your feelings with empathy and understanding. Remind yourself that you're doing the best you can with the resources you have available. Imagine life as a turbulent sea. Waves of challenges and setbacks will inevitably crash against your boat. Self-compassion is your life vest. It helps you stay afloat amidst the storm, allowing you to navigate the choppy waters with greater resilience. Resilience is the ability to bounce back from adversity, to rise stronger from challenges. It's not about avoiding difficulties altogether, but about facing them head-on with courage and self-compassion. When you cultivate self-compassion, you build a reservoir of inner strength that empowers you to weather life's inevitable storms. Self-criticism is like a cage, trapping you in a cycle of self-doubt and fear of failure. Self-compassion is the key that unlocks the cage, setting you free to pursue your dreams with confidence and enthusiasm. When you silence that inner critic, you create space for your authentic self to emerge. You're no longer held back by limiting beliefs or the fear of judgment. You're free to explore your passions, take risks, and embrace new opportunities with a sense of curiosity and excitement. Self-compassion is not about inflating your ego or denying your flaws. It's about recognizing your inherent worthiness as a human being, imperfections and all. It's about embracing all parts of yourself, even the messy and imperfect ones, with kindness and understanding. When you practice self-compassion, you begin to heal the wounds of self-doubt and self-criticism. You start to see yourself through a lens of love and acceptance, recognizing that you are enough, just as you are. This deep sense of self-love becomes a source of strength and resilience, empowering you to navigate life's challenges with grace and authenticity. Remember, cultivating self-compassion is a journey, not a destination. There will be days when your inner critic roars louder than usual, when self-doubt creeps in and tries to dim your light. But don't be discouraged by these setbacks. They are a natural part of the process. The key is to approach your self-compassion practice with patience, kindness, and a healthy dose of humor. Celebrate your progress no matter how small. Acknowledge your efforts, even when you stumble. And most importantly, remember that you are not alone on this journey. There is a whole community of fellow travelers cheering you on every step of the way. Throughout this journey of exploration, we've delved deep into the recesses of our minds, confronting the harsh realities of the inner critic and unearthing the transformative power of self-compassion. We've learned that our brains, far from being static entities, possess the remarkable ability to rewire themselves through neuroplasticity. Just as we can train our bodies for physical strength, we can train our minds for emotional resilience. Self-compassion, with its pillars of self-kindness, shared humanity, and mindful awareness, emerges as a beacon of hope, guiding us towards a more authentic and fulfilling life. It's not about silencing our inner critic entirely, but rather transforming its harsh whispers into a gentler, more understanding dialogue. It's about recognizing that we, like everyone else, are perfectly imperfect beings, deserving of our own love and compassion. As we conclude this exploration, remember that cultivating self-compassion is not a one-time event, but an ongoing practice, a lifelong journey of self-discovery and growth. There will be days when the inner critic rears its head, threatening to undermine our hard-earned progress. But armed with the tools and techniques we've discussed, we can face these challenges with greater resilience and a renewed sense of purpose. Embrace the journey within. Be patient with yourself. Celebrate your victories, and learn from your setbacks. Remember that you are not alone in this endeavor. There is a global community of like-minded individuals who understand the struggles and triumphs of this transformative path. Together, let us embark on this journey towards self-compassion, cultivating a world where kindness and understanding prevail.